Oh hey, I'm Mental Oliver and welcome to his cartoons. I like reaction channels. There's a lot of reaction channels out there. In fact, you actually get most popular by doing reaction videos. I have attempted some in the past, and I regret them. But the reason I wanted to bring up reaction channels is because I made a comic on BlastphamousHD when I was young. BlastphamousHD is a YouTuber, a gamer, a musician, a commentator. Basically, he's really famous. I read an entire wiki article on this guy, and for some reason the audio didn't go through, so I'm going to have to summarize all of it. He was in his prime with his reaction videos back in 2015 and 2016 because he would often pause the video he was reacting to in order to give his in order to give either a full description of the reaction or the how he feels or what he thinks about the video he's watching. And basically, he's been praised for that. You can see this in action right here when he reacts to foods that have weird stuff in it for whatever reason.
Honestly, I watched a documentary showing what are in hot dogs. And tell you the truth, the bullet is the healthier choice. That's real. You don't believe me? Look them shits up. There are videos on YouTube about how nasty hot dogs are.
And while BlastphamousHD is going downhill as of recently, I made this comic when he was still in his prime. Here we go. The comic's not even that short, it's like 4 pages long. So, I originally decided to design BlastphamousHD as sort of a side character in one of my other comics, but I decided instead to give the YouTuber his very own comic. When initially designing the suits for BlastphamousHD, I originally went with a lot of silverish white robotic designs before realizing that didn't quite fit Maurice's character or personality for that matter, so I decided to actually give him a suit that represents him. I decided to go with one of the 2 things he's afraid of. I decided to go with this.
Are you always wondering the struggles of the streets, right? There's no bigger struggle. Anyone out there who lives in the streets knows that there's no bigger struggle than fucking roaches, my nigga.
And in case you're wondering what the second fear was, it's also the ocean, but I just decided to go with roaches because I thought it would be funny for Maurice to turn into a roach in order to face a space platoon of roaches. And also to make him look like the ongoing Japanese series Kamen Rider.
仮面ライダー本郷武史は改造人間である。彼を改造したショッカーは世界制覇を企む悪の秘密結社である。仮面ライダーは人間の自由のためにショッカーと戦うのだ。
Okay, we get exposition about Maurice Burnett as BlastphamousHD while a space war is going on between these sun warrior roaches, or as I call them, solar roaches, and Dairochu, or the Great Roach, who is the villain of this story. The leader of the Sun Roaches gets one of their lower soldiers, 8XJ, to get the Polarva, the ship, for this comic. And he goes out, tries to fight Polarva, but then crashes on the moon and tries to repair it. Meanwhile, an object from the ship has fallen down on Earth, and Maurice grabs it, transforming him into a roach. This is where things get crazy. Remember that the space war is still going on as this is happening, and Dairochu just noticed that Maurice turned into BlastphamousHD. So he sends some of his troopers down there to fight him. Meanwhile, 8XJ fixed the ship and is going down to Earth to assist Maurice using the Palarva, now turned into a robot. When Chavez and Randy entered the ship, they introduced themselves to 8XJ, and the fight just continues and continues and continues until eventually BlastphamousHD gets a transformation out of nowhere called Blast Mode, which is used by flipping his weapon around. And then the plot twist comes. Are you ready for this? The roach he's fighting, aka Dairochu, the Great Roach, the leader of all those villainous solar roaches, is actually the roach he tried to kill in his Man vs. Giant Cockroaches video.
Do your jobs, cats. You jobless little shits. You attack that motherfucker. You find it. My nigga, it's as big as a small dog, my nigga. Do something. I need my girlfriend. I'm gonna call my girlfriend. Like, it's fucking roaches with superpowers.
Wow, talk about something from the past coming back to bite you. With the fight reaching its end, Maurice's friends tell him to use his full power, and he does. He uses his final attack that's called Spread It, which is a reference to something he used to say in the old days, but is also a reference to the fact that his final attack is literally a lightning barrage attack. It's also a reference to O-Ranger when the Black Ranger in that team, or Gold Ranger in our case, actually uses his final attack, and it's the exact same thing. And with Dairochu finally destroyed, his soldiers go off into space and take a 3.5-year time period away from our heroes. Although they promise they'll be back when that happens. And that's where the comic ends for now. Surprisingly enough, there's more of this character that I've done besides this one comic. There's actually a crossover I did with the previous comic like I originally planned. I completed that. Maybe I'll talk about that in the next video, so goodbye.